No, now the knee. Well, that was it. Manu, what's he done there? He's sold a dummy with a knee injury. It's a fake knee injury. That is set up and thrown for Boborovsky.
It's the next tackle. He gets an offload. He goes back against the football. Probably feels a cramp coming on in the back of his calf. And then just takes off.
Oh, what a beauty. So, you pick which has been the better moment. The bloke kicking the ball back from the traffic at the southern end, or Manu, the cramp, the fibber, and takes off to set up a try.
Welcome back, ladies and gents. Episode number 1, 2024 NRL. Pretty pumped to get this season going, guys. I'll start off straight away, guys. We've got some guests on tonight, so we'll start with the big red elephant in the room there. Bergs, mate. How we going, mother?
Oh, fantastic. How are we, fellas?
Always good, mate. Always good. Loving it. It's good to get I guess, Supercoach royalty on the first episode, which is always good to have, mate. How you been? How you preparing, mate? You doing all right?
Can't complain. Doing all right. We're not doing a podcast this year, so I get to focus on my own team. As you fellas all know, like when you do podcasts, you run pages, you get inundated with how do I do this? What do I do? And you know what? It triggers things in your brain that you weren't thinking as well. Like it's amazing what some people are actually thinking out there and the way they structure their sides up. It does trigger things in you, but sometimes it overwhelms you and it leaves you just rattled. So this year we're taking a step back and I get to focus on my side and I'm a bit happy with it. I'm not too unhappy with what I got in front of me until TLT. I won't really tamper with much more barring some sort of like incident, but yeah, I'm good.
Oh, good. Yeah, I think one thing that we fall in the trap of is it's always good to be informed of Supercoach stuff, but when you get too much information, it just overloads you, and you doubt yourself, and you make some pretty crazy decisions. So, I know that our first year doing the podcast, I had probably the worst year I've ever had in my life. I think I gained 15,000th the year, and I hated it. But next year after that, I guess I've gained some composure and made top 1,000 almost. So. But yeah, good luck, mate. I think it's your year, mate. You might not think about the 50K this year, but it might be yours anyway with the way you're thinking. So,
well, you never know. It just comes down to luck of it, really. Like there's all the planning in the world you can do, but you do know you have to have a bit of ass to be a good super coach.
That's it, mate. That's it. All right, yeah, mate. Welcome on, mate. So, what I will say, we've got the next person on. We haven't seen him very often this last few years, but he's back. Brod, welcome back, mate. The Cash Man. How you going, brother?
Yeah, well, like Bruce was saying, don't worry about winning the 50 grand. Just jump into cashes. The chance. No, going good. Pretty pumped for NRL. Didn't like the draws and the old structure this year, so didn't take too much into it. So pretty keen to put it all onto NRL.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty big year, but we'll get to more information on the cash comps a bit later. So it's going to be a big year for cashies. Looking forward to it. And last but definitely not least, Tragic's royalty right here. Tigers for life. Glenn, mate, how was your off season? How are you pumped for this season?
Yeah, I am pumped, mate. I'm a lot more organised with my time this year. As you know, I had a lot on over the last 12 months, so I feel like I've got it into some kind of management now. So hopefully this season's a better one. I'm keen for some footy.
Yeah, mate, it must be tough saving the world every day, mate. All the good work you do out there, it's good to see the kind of stuff you do, and I can imagine that kind of getting a bit overwhelming, the amount of stuff that you actually do. So it's good to see some good human beings out there, mate, like yourself.
Cheers.
All right, guys, let's get started. What I'll do is I'll have to get this little presentation thing going up here. Let's get started, guys. So first things first. Guys, Tragic's overall group, the code is 81592. Proudly brought to you by the Supercoach Championship. Supercoach Champions. Very legendary guys over there have donated a ring for us again for this year. So the winner of the overall comp will receive a Supercoach Champions ring, as you can see pictures here for the viewers. Don't forget, guys, so 818592. Gone too far. Let's have a look. Of course, it wouldn't be a podcast without it going too far. Technical issues. Here we go. So jump into the website, guys. Go to supercoachchampion.com. Use code TRAGICS to get your 10% discount and grab that ring. Make sure you use that code, guys. Get that discount there. Great little piece of trophy there for the winner. So grab it in there as soon as you possibly can, guys. All right. Next up. Pass it over to Brod, mate. Got some cash comps, mate. We've got cash comps ranging from $5 all up to $1,000. I'll get Brod to expand more on that.
Yeah, so obviously start of the new year. Got comps going from $5 up to $1,000, but obviously head to heads. There's a number for everybody. So 20s, 50s, 100s, and then some overalls. Normally get some really good money. I think we paid out 140k in the last 5 years. So some really good numbers in there. And hopefully make them bigger this year. So any questions? Obviously, just chuck up and I'll reply.
Yeah, and what I will say too, guys, is I'm actually in a few of these $20 comps. I got 5 of them up for grabs. So if you want to PM Brod and jump in and try and take my cash, do so. Make sure you PM Brod and say, can I take Dan's cash? And you can tell me one of my leagues. So you will see me in there, guys. Awesome. Alrighty. One last thing before we get into the stats, guys. Rugby League Fantasy Pro have been kind enough to give our Tragics fans and listeners a $10 discount if you use the code Tragics10 to receive your first year with $10 discount. This is going to be our stats side of choice, guys, this year in the podcast. There's some amazing things. You'll see glimpses of us sharing our screens with these stats. Even today, I'll show you my screen today and actually show you my team. But yeah, these stats are unheard of. If you want to get a stat that you can't find in here, you're not looking hard enough. And even if there is a stat that you can't find, the guys that run this website are very approachable and are happy to make some adjustments and add some things in there as well for you guys. So don't forget, guys, go to rugbyleaguefantasypro.com and use code TRAGICS10 and get $10 off your first year subscription. All right, guys, I think that's about it for our sponsors now. Let's jump in and talk team reveal. Let's start hookers. Who wants to go first? I'll pass it over to Bergs, our special guest. What are your hookers looking like this week?
I do know my way around hookers. No, well, I've gone with Harry Grant just for the safety net. Like, granted, if things change and I need money, I would downgrade Grant to possibly Robson or something like that, but I wouldn't like to. I'd rather keep Harry just because he's Harry Grant. And then I've gone with Jaden Brayley just because it's the Knights. Their draw is really good. I can foresee him getting limited minutes to start. Don't know if I'd play Jay Bray over those first 2 or even third round, but after that we should be getting a bit of knowledge on where he's at, if he's going to get more minutes or if he's just going to get 40 minutes or whatever, and then I'd move him down to whoever at Para was getting that 80-minute spot if he didn't pan out for me. That's sort of the safety net with him. He's the more high-priced of the Hands and the Lussics of the world, so I can downgrade. Yeah, that's just me outlook at the moment. Like, the safety net of the money with Harry Grant, I like that, and if I have to, I would sacrifice, but I don't want to.
Yeah, I went a few rounds last year towards the end without Harry Grant, and God, it was scary not owning him. So, yeah, I think there's 2 strategies you can go, or I say there's 3 strategies you can go with hooker, and that's 2 guns, which I'm not a big fan of. There's a gun and a cheapie to the cash, that's the one I want to go for. And then there's the no option, and you guys will agree, is never go 2 cheapies. That's been bitten me in the ass a few times, and that was a nasty thing. We'll move on to you, Glenn. Mate, what do your hookers look like, mate?
Yeah, so I've actually got Robson at the moment. I downgraded Harry Grant the other day, but I've been stashing money away to. I can actually upgrade him if I want to. And then I've got Brayley as my second. I think Brayley in that night side. The reason I like Robson is he doesn't have a bye run up to round 13 and plays round 13. which means that it's just a lock in right up till there, and then I can upgrade after the Origin series. That's my plan at this stage. But I've spent up on those on fullback, and if I, depending on the trials and how that goes with either Turbo or Pappenhausen, and I trade down, then I'll obviously go back up to the Wizard.
Yeah. I think if you're gonna, it's like I said before, there was those three strategies. I think Robson you can consider a gun here because there's not very many outstanding guns in that position. So I think Robson you probably want to consider as a gun potentially as best as they come, other than Harry Grant. So.
Well, James is very popular at the moment as well. I just want to throw in there, and he's got a buy round 3, if I remember correctly, and round 3. So if you're going to have a cheap one, but I think there's a couple of cheap hookers I just wanted to mention before, which is like Lassie, Hands, and Brayley. I think all could have potentially play 80 minutes. So this is a season where you could actually go to cheap ones if they were to play the minutes.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Oh,
I've done it before. I did it once, and bloody hell, that was my worst bloody year ever. So let's not go with that again. Bride, mate. Anything different? How are we looking?
No, obviously I've been a huge brand supporter every single year, and I'm not doing it this year. I'm going to CP. So going to Paris, wherever they pick, and I'm going to go Brayley. Obviously, depending on the first week of trials, but that's where I'm looking at the moment. I think there's money to make and points to gain there, but I won't lose too much. Is where I set mine.
It's hard.
Just a question though, with that, if that backfires on you, where are you going to scrape the money from to rectify in a hurry, or are you just going to ride it out?
Well, I'll probably start selling drugs on my body. One of the two.
Who's your second hooker? Brayley and who?
The Parramatta hooker.
Oh, yeah, right. I don't hate it, bro. I got more faith than they do.
I've just been bitten, so I just can't do it. And it was ironically there was a Brayley in that cheapy option. That was the other Brayley. I went two cheapies, and oh my god, it was terrible. And they both went average, and I had no way to get up to anyone else. I had to start selling my guns in the half to upgrade my hooker.
Well, if that works out for broad fellas, like you've both got people that are $200,000-$300,000 higher, and let's say Harry doesn't come out busting 70s and stuff, he comes out busting 50s. Like, there's a world where you sell Harry Grant, and I've seen it done 1,000 times, even though everyone says, oh, you never sell a keeper, but for $200,000-$300,000 on the upswing, because if he's going to come up $200,000-$300,000, one of them the cheapies, and then old mate's coming down 100, that's a $400,000 for a trade.
What you would also keep in mind too, right, is if you're going to buy a hooker for $750K, then you're expecting him to get 75 average, right? So if Brode buys a player for 33K, right, and has him a hooker, he's only hoping for 40s there, points per dollar, and then he's able to invest in other positions. So it's not as ludicrous as it sounds. It's just that they have to meet a certain points value, points per dollar. You know, if they're making money and you're able to upgrade in other positions, it's not as insane as it sounds. And we need to explore and let people know that is a viable way of going in Supercoach.
Yeah,
but
there you go, Bergs.
With Supercoach, you've got to be smart. You know what I mean? Like, it's all about being smart, and it's all about points and money. Now, last year, not many people in them first 5 rounds that finished the year as must-have guns were pulling their weight. There was people that you sold for $200,000-$300,000 swings and got them back later, and it's the people that we're talking about on paper today, some of these top people. And you're willing to have them in your side on potential, and you're willing to take them hits of hundreds and 150,000 here and there. But that's because, you know, come round 6, they're on the back on the upswing once teams click and find form and all the rest of it. So do you run the risk of a 3-round swing on the cheapies?
We'll all have those risks somewhere, won't we, at the end of the day? I'm just probably taking my risk in the hooker spot instead of, you know, the halves or so.
Yeah. I reckon you've taken a few risks with hookers.
Well, look at them.
Yeah, I think was it last year there was no out and out gun in a hooker position besides Harry Grant. So it's like if you're gonna there's very little things that can hurt you up against you in that position when you think about it. There's only that one Harry Grant. Other
Marshall
ones like Reece. Yeah, Marshall King's good, but I had him last year and he injured his shoulder about 12 times after I bought him. So he also is a risk, yeah. So I'm not too fussed about him, even though he can get a big score.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll go to my team now, guys. So I've gone very vanilla. I've got Harry Grant as my number one hooker. So he's priced at a 73 average from last year. And they're projecting the 6-round average to be 72. So that's what the projection is. Obviously, projections are projections, but they're also based on past and history and stuff. So to me, I'm set and forget. I'll deal with that issues when it comes to Origin a bit later. And my backup is either Joey Lussick or it's going to be Hands as my backup. Now that we know Arthur's come out and said that there'll be an 80-minute hooker at Parramatta, I don't see him breaking any rules and making massive hundreds and stuff, but he's only probably average base tackles alone and just 40 points. So I'm happy to get that. That'll be enough money for me to raise any attacking stats come my way, then so be it. And hopefully I can upgrade him later on and get a potential backup for Harry Grant. So, all right. Well, I passed it around to everyone else for the hookers. So what I'll do now is I'll start first with the front row. Gone a little bit different. I guess with only one player. But I got Payne Haas. I feel like how the trials go, how his ankle pulls up, I'll be sticking with that. My backup, it was actually going to be Spencer Leniu, which I was totally against. Did not like it at all. But then I realised they have a bye in round 3. And my 2 other benchies are just cheapies. So I need to have 2 front rowers that are going to play in that round 3. So I've gone to Vita Totola. He had an injury-ridden game round last year. Bit up and down with injury, but I think he's undervalued and he can do a pretty good job with points. So Totola is my man there. And then I've gone with the 2 cheapies, Sam Hughes and Xavier Willison, which is always risky to have these 2 in your team, I think, because you there, Glenn?
You just said Spencer Leniu, you took him out because he's got to buy round 3.
I'm pretty sure he had to buy round 3.
No, he doesn't have a buy at all, though. He doesn't have a buy at all right up to round 13.
Oh, 13. 14, yeah.
14. So he actually plays every round and plays the bye round.
Yeah, there was someone that had a buy and I had my team. No, I think I had someone else it wasn't Spencer Leniu, it was someone else in my team. But yeah, either way, Glenn loves to call me. Glenn loves calling me out live on the show, which is always good.
Oh no, I think our viewers should know that the Roosters don't have a buy because when we get to my side, I've done it for that reason. And I like calling Dan out.
Yeah. But I think I still want to have a backup anyway. Someone that's going to be a solid backup, rather than Spencer Leniu at the moment. He's going to be on the bench. I don't know what's going to happen there. I'm a bit too concerned, especially with that round 1 with the big boy the grub with the round 1 suspension. So we don't know what the team's going to look like until round 2, really. So, but yeah, I'll pass on to Brod, mate. You want to go first with your front row?
I'm going Payne Haas. I know Tino's got a buy in the second round, but I'll be happy to keep him on there. I just think that he's over and above just going to be the best front rower again this year with Haas. And then the 2 on the bench of cheapies that I think will obviously make some money depending on who gets what position. So it will depend on buys, but I've got Tino's brother and so yeah, both the bottom dollar, but I think we'll see an improvement in them this year.
So having both Suamala Awis in your team, it looks pretty good having the brothers in your team.
I think that'll be a step ahead. He's Payne Haas. I think those 2 are going to end up 1 and 2. I'd just rather just keep them there.
And I think that's the thing. If you're going to have no gun hooker, there'll be very few people that will have both Haas and Tino in their team. That could be your point of difference right there, which I like.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. All right, Glenn, mate, your front row, any different?
Yeah, it is. I've got Payne Haas as well. I'm starting with Haas, but I've actually got Tyrell May, and both Haas and May play right up to round 13, which means that I don't know. Let's just set and forget on both. I think Tyrell May average and points per dollar. I really like him. I got what's his name? Viliami Kikau, however you say his name. and Hughes. And I really like Hughes, mate, from what I've heard from the Dogs. Should be getting some good minutes.
How do you have Kickout at front row forward, Glenn?
Nah, Fafita. It'd be Viliami Fafita.
Fafita, that's it. Viliami Fafita. Yeah. Sorry, mate. I've got it on the forwards here, so I haven't got it on my team, so I can look at other forwards to talk about.
Brother's getting excited. Brod's getting excited.
Yeah, I like when they can get me. I don't mind.
All right, Bergs, mate. How's your front row looking?
Now I've gone Tino, and I know they've got the bye round too, but I just with Haas's ankle and all that, I just want to see. But and Tino's worth a bit more, so it gives me the safety net there of having him. And I've gone Matt Lodge, provided he's back from his ACL. I know he done ACL late in the year, but I heard he should be right for round 1. And then I've gone Kerr because the potential on Kerr's been there for years. He's just been a shit Dragon side. Like, he's now moved on. I don't know if he gets a starting spot or anywhere, but he's got potential. His PPM's not bad when he's on, and if he gets some minutes, he'll be okay. And then I've gone Wilson from the Broncos, just in case Payne Haas isn't fit, and Wilson he does all right. He's a pretty big lump of a kid too, from what I remember. So that's my front row at the moment.
I'm on some pretty big minutes this year.
There's a few mid-ranges I think we should talk about. Jack de Bellin was one of them I was looking at. The other one was obviously Flegler that everyone's looking at. And there was another one, I'm just trying to remember who it was. Totola from the Bunnies. I think all of those could be potential mids if you're looking for a mid-range player that can average you, well enough in the front row.
Yeah. Oh, Totola's a beast. His drama was he copped a heap of head knocks last year.
Yeah.
Like, he got that one opening round. I think he was out there for literally 3 seconds or something.
Yeah.
And he came back and copped another one pretty much straight away, I think. And it rubbed him out for a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I think I've got him in my team, as I think he's undervalued. I think he's going to be.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. No, I do like the shout of Terrell May as well. It might be because I think he's a bit cheaper as well, I'm pretty sure.
They're the same price. There's 4K difference between the two. But you're right. The only reason I went May over him was that there's no buy for him right up to round 13. And he plays round 13. So, I mean, it's someone right up to the first buy is pretty handy.
And you look at Totola, when you in the same aspect that you've just given me, Totola has a buy around 7 and around 13. Two has 2 buys before Terrell May has 1. So,
yeah.
Awesome. Alrighty, let's go to second rows, and we'll start with this one. We'll go around in circles. Second row, mate. How are we looking?
Me? I have got Kickout from the Dogs. I've gone Dogs heavy. I'm a Dog supporter, but Kickout I think's undervalued, and I think the Dogs as a side should get a bit better. Massive should. Lane's undervalued. And I think with Dylan Brown back inside, that helps Lane. And with the disruptions to their side at the end of last year, I can see why he's undervalued. They played shit, towards the end. So, and then I have Curran, who should get a starting role at the Dogs as well. Knight, Duncan, and William Vifida on the bench. But that's subject to change. I do like Hughes from what's his name from the Dogs, Hughes.
Yeah.
Samuel Hughes, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about him. So Fafita might get the flick.
But yeah, you got Samuel Hughes as a dual as well, I'm pretty sure. So you can chuck him in front row and second row. So yeah. Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Oh, is that sorry?
No, Hughes is only front row, mate.
Oh, who's Yeah, so
Fafita's second row, front row.
Yeah. Awesome. Oh, good. All right, Glenn, mate, your second row. How are we looking?
Yeah, so I've got Lane. I've got Piakura. I think that I really like him owning the Broncos in that side. I think he'll score nice and tidy. I've got Wong at the moment as a placeholder between him and Angus, or depending on who gets that spot on the right. I really want the right-hand side of the Roosters this year. And again, no draw, no buy up until round 13 and place 13. I've got Curran, and then I've got Jed Cartwright. There's a real good chance that Jed Cartwright gets a full 80-minute left-hand edge at the Knights. And, outside Ponga, Marzu and Best, I mean, you can't but hate that, And then the last one I've got, I fucking don't want him. He'll be going, is Ben Trebojevic. He last year, like every time I buy him, he dies. So he's a placeholder.
I felt the pain when you said it. Ben Trebojevic.
Can I just say this, though? Jed Cartwright and Burbo are both dual, right? And if I can find a spot for him, Jed Cartwright gets that second row spot. He might be nice to play in your centre wing. We always know at the start of the season, someone that's getting that solid base in the middle could be very handy to play in your centre wing.
Bro,
might be a spoiler alert later, actually, because he might be in my centre wing.
If you're on that left edge for the Knights, you're going to go okay this year, I think.
Yeah, I was looking at some stats for tries scored on edges for each team, and I think it's like 2.7 tries a game average scored on the left edge of that Knights, which is massive. That's an average of 2.7 tries a game on that side. So, I mean, it's not really. It wasn't a surprise because that's where Ponga goes. So, but yeah. All good. All right, mate. You're up.
Look, all mine mid-ranges, pretty much. I did have people that realised I probably can't have that many Titans for the round 2. Even though he probably scores 200 points against the Dragons in round 1. But my team, I've got Gilbert. A lot of people coming back from injuries or crappy positions. So looking at Gilbert, Kikau, Potter, Lane, Curran, and Schuster. Obviously, depending a lot on these pre-season games. I'm not very much committed at all.
Yeah, Schuster back on the edge. It could be a glimpse of what he was back on the edge, but after watching him last year, I just can't see him getting that back. So, but he's so well priced.
Sorry, Cotter's a good shout getting the captaincy up there. He should get extra minutes now.
Yeah, like the last after Origin, he was within minutes once they couldn't make the finals. So I think he's going to increase no matter what. And obviously with the captaincy, I think we'll see him push out probably 65 minutes a game.
That's juicy.
Love it. All right, we'll go to my team now. So I've gone the whole mid-range route too. I think there's a lot of value in the second row, like tons of value. So, and there's a few guys that you mentioned that I kind of want my team at that good value too. I'll start off with Bo Firma. I know he's playing for the Titans, but I want a piece of that first game, I think. I want a piece of that first game against the Dragons. So I've got enough depth, I believe, or enough money locked in for second row so I can cover that round 2. I've also got Sean Lane in the second row and Brendan Piakura. Piakura was so good to watch last year when he just ran those gaps, and I'm looking forward to seeing him get some more minutes there, which is great. Just like Glenn, I've got Angus Crichton instead of Wong, but it just all depends on who gets that right edge there. Then I've got just a placeholder here. Is Kai Pearce-Paul from the Knights. Just wanted to make sure there was a placeholder with a bit of extra money so I can distribute it where I need to. And I think if he gets a spot, he'd be worth it, I think. And then, same with everybody else, the bottom dollar cheapie, Viliama for feeder as well.
Can I just quickly mention too, there's a couple of players of interest. So obviously Blore, if he gets a starting spot, and Tallis Duncan, if he gets a starting spot, or either of those get a position. But the other player, if you're looking for upside, right, and sometimes people want to have that one gun second rower, Eli Katoa. Mate, the guy just absolutely beast. He's an absolute weapon. Kaloa Matangi playing on the left edge now at the Bunnies outside Walker, and I just think that whole left edge is stacked. And then the other one I had in my mind, there was a third one, Cameron Murray, obviously. So, I mean, all three of those offer you upside if you are looking for an upside player in that second row position.
Yeah, I always try to have the one big gun in there, and I wasn't really sure any really stood out, but I had Katoa in my team a few times during the setup of my team. Loved Katoa there. because he's the only one that's really. Because you look at the edge, you got Blore and Lioro fighting for that extra edge spot there.
Yeah.
But you know Katoa's safe on his spot, so to me that was a pretty good option there. But I think there's just too much value to toss up around there. So
Yeah, agreed.
The team in the second round,
mm.
there's heaps of players in there. You even talk about Pat Carrigan.
Oh yeah, Tofu.
Yeah, that's right. There's a stack.
Yeah, so many. Alrighty, I'll go next. Well, I'll do all the halves at once, guys. So I'll go. I've gone very heavy in my spine, so I got Nico Hines and Nathan Cleary as my halfbacks. Very heavy there. I just wanted to make sure that I had coverage for any backup as a captain choice as well. Because when you think if you only have the one or two captain choices and have a buy round, it limits what you have to do. So I want to have a couple of choices there for captain. My 5'8" position, I've gone Dylan Brown. I think the draw for the Parramatta Eels is really juicy at the start. Even though they play Penrith, I think it's in round 2 or early on the rounds. I think that Dylan Brown has a really good average against Penrith. So I think that's not a really bad draw at all. And my last 5'8" is Jaden Campbell, jagging that fullback spot there at the Titans. I think he's going to be some bit of money to make there and got some X factor as well. So yeah, Rod, mate, how is your halves looking?
Not the best. I'm pretty undecided. Apart from Nico Hines, who is, I'm very undecided on the rest of the positions. At the moment, I've got, I don't know why, it's like the 30 and low, Matt Burton. And the other two, the 5'8", are Jane Campbell and Flano. Apart from Brown, like I said there, I don't really see anyone else. Oh, and Munster, of course. I don't see anyone else there really screaming out. So if I can make some quick cash, that's what I want to hopefully do.
Yeah, I love it. A bit different. It's always normally it's the same teams you'll see when you do a go around a table of 4. But you always count on Broad having something crazy, which is always good to change it up a little bit. So we'll be the ones laughing. I'll probably be the one laughing when he gets the highest score and the most cash pool in the first few rounds. All right, Tigers for life, Glenn, mate. How are your halves looking, mate?
Well, at the moment, it's pretty generic. I've got Cleary, Hines, Brown, and Weeks. But there is a scenario where I sell Cleary, right? And if I do that, I could end up having Trindle, Sam Walker at half, and Jaden Campbell. So I did have one where I had Trindle and Jaden Campbell in with Brown and Hines. But at the moment, it's Hines, Cleary, Brown, and Weeks.
Yeah, I like it. It's a bit different. The options that you were talking before, are a bit different, but it's so hard not to have. If you're going to do a couple, I love the couple of those options. But if you put them all in the one big, if you want to go, all right, let's go Sam Walker, Trindle, and then mix up a bit more. You're having too much. You've gone too left field, so I like mixing up a little bit. Maybe go a couple of left field.
Yeah.
He's me saying that, and I've gone completely vanilla myself. So, all right, Bergs, mate. How are you all looking?
I've gone Nico Naif. I am worried about the jet lag on the couple of them teams coming back from America, which I'm a bit worried about, but not having Naif's way more scary than some jet lag. I've gone Trindle, but as me prime 5'8", I know come round 3 or 4 they got a bye, which might hurt me, but I like Trindle. I like what he offers, and I think if you watch the way Nico plays, Nico's better not running aside, whereas Trindle's better at running aside, if you know what I mean. So I can see. I don't think so. I think he just goes back to what he was doing at Melbourne, and old mate gets his assists. You know what I mean? So yeah, look, to be honest, I like Trindle. I like watching him last year. A couple of times I watched him last year and thought, fuck, he takes the game by the balls and he's not scared. And that's what Nico needs. And that couple of times Nico got a bit overwhelmed, and you've seen it in his scores last year. So, and then the other one's Weeks, but I am looking at Flanagan, like Brod's got. Flano under his dad or under the Sharks regime back in the day, it was okay. If you remember, he come to the scene, bust out a few 60s or something. Wasn't bad. He'll probably, I don't know if he'll goal kick, but he'll definitely have a role, and especially playing some hooker last year for the Dogs. I think that will up his game a bit. So I like him.
Think about first. Obviously, you put out about Nico got a little bit busted last year. How
So what
bad
happened?
how bad do you went on average from Nico Bar? Got 95.
Oh,
What do you want?
you Nico's a freak, man. Like, and honestly, you watch him play footy, he's such a talented footy player, you know. And I remember last year at the start of the year, I said, "Oh, I'm not going to get on him. He's got issues with his mum, all this other bullshit." He leaves it at home. He comes out, he does the same shit. But if they don't get on the front foot, he's gonna go, you know. Like, and then he'll just come out the next week and get a 150 and help you out.
Why it's so hard to go past players like Cleary and Hines is they actually score in every category. Goal kicking, they run the ball, line try, assist tries, forced dropouts. They literally cover every aspect of scoring in Supercoach. But Flanagan, I believe, and a lot of people are going to think I'm insane here, is a mini Cleary. He's a front-on defender. He gets involved. He just hasn't had a run. I actually really like Flanagan, and I don't hate that at all. And again, you know, I like him.
Been in shit side for a long time, and he was used as a shit man at the Roosters. His confidence would have been shot after that. He was just, you stand to live, and don't you do shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that's all he did at the Roosters. And then when he got to the Dogs, he got to a fucking basket case where everyone knows when you're a halfback, it gets hung on you, and you got forwards that don't want to fucking run for you, and you got backs that aren't doing their shit. Oh, it's all Flanagan's fault. Fuck off! Like, come on, it weren't his fault. He got hung, and he'll do better this year. But just quick one, Fogarty from Canberra will have to goal kick. He'll be the dominant half there. I don't know when they have a bye, but if you want to stooge out and save some money, I think he's worth a shout.
I don't like him. I don't see Canberra scoring many tries.
No, neither do I, but he hopefully gets a couple of goal kicks. Couple.
Penalties in the first couple of minutes.
Yeah, they are going to be fucking shit this year, eh? Like, really.
They're rebuilding essentially because they've all got so many players gone and a couple of young guys. That's all the cheapies are. So
yeah, but in saying that, you've seen teams do it in the past, like throw a bunch of misfits together and do well.
and they got a lot. They're all young, so they could do anything. They could go out there and do what Ricky says, or they can go out there and just be those young, cocky little players, which is a great thing for Supercoach because they want to show off. And I just had a look here. They don't have a bye till round 10, mate. So Raiders, so quite a late bye. But I'm on with Brod there. I think I'll want to wait and see before I can make sure they actually score tries. Because even getting the conversions from penalty kicks, normally the Raiders are the ones giving the penalties away. So, so yeah, a bit nervous about the Raiders this year. I would be surprised if they don't make the bottom 3, bottom 4.
Mm.
And I lived in Canberra, so it's Brod. But yeah, I lived in Canberra, so it's good that when you walk around in your Panthers jersey, just showing off in front of them. It's always good.
Got me up.
That's it. Yeah, well, we don't have Oak anymore, so.
Maybe anymore.
Alrighty. All right, let's start, guys, with centre wings, guys. I'm not gonna lie, I've gone cheap as hell here. So I've got this is all placeholders until TLT. Essentially, I'm going on the cheapest I possibly can here. I've got Chevy Stewart, KR Iro, which I'm very doubtful he gets a spot. Ethan Strange, Jed Cartwright, Bronson Zeri, Jack Bostock, and Jesse Arthurs. Literally all placeholders until TLT gets named. So don't judge me on my centre wing because it's all going to be cheapies. All right, Brod, how's yours looking?
No, same, mate. All placeholders. I'm looking for cheapies in there. Otherwise, my second row and front row is probably going to hurt. And like Glenn says, you know, normally the forwards can do the hard yards, good points at the start of the season. So if I can jag a couple of cheapies that score a try or two, sell them off, I'll be pretty happy.
Love it. Alrighty, Glenn, mate, how's yours looking?
Yeah, pretty much the same as in placeholders and cheapies. I've got Tyrell May, I've got Bronson Derry, I've got Joe Boxstock. I like that big winger from the Dolphins. I've got Xavier Savage, I've got Cairo, Strange, and Stewart. And obviously, we won't know until Teamless Tuesday which one of those will get it. But there's enough around in that cheaper price range where we can mix and match, and
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I got a bit of cash stash too, so I kind of like putting money aside, go cheap, and then I can fill the gaps.
Yep. Yeah, so I tried to put at least a few players there that weren't bottom dollar, just so I could spread the cash a bit better. That's how I bank my money, but I'm not looking hopeful. There could be some dramas come TLT for me.
Yeah.
Bergs, mate, how's your centre wing looking, mate?
Very similar, fellas. Everyone probably should have the same. It's where the money's going to get made, most likely. I got May, and May, he'll probably be a keeper till the end, like he was that year he came to grade. His work ethic's good. His tackle breaks are great. He might play centre. I don't know how that affects his game, but he's a good player, and he doesn't shy away from it. And we've seen what Targo done there last year too at centre. He was coming out tunning up at will. Like they use their back so well at Penrith. Sherry I have because he'll be just big, fast, and he'll have point to prove after he's missed out. I got Corey Oates. I got Corey Oates, man. I know they got that tough game round one, but after that, their draw opens up, and Corey Oates last year came. He was fit. He was looking good, and there's a couple of them sides they play in the opening rounds where they leak points on his side. So I just want to use him for a kicker to somewhere else. I won't have him all year, but I see points in Corey Oates and his draw. I got that far logo just as he's a high points. He's high cash. So if Bostock gets named, I'd downgrade straight away. I can't see him even getting a bench spot, to be honest, that far logo. So, but I'll have him, and then I'll have the rest like Stewart and Iro. I don't see Iro getting a spot, but wishful thinking.
I think we're going to be surprised to see a lot of non-cheapies getting named in the wings, on the centre wings, I reckon. So I think it's going to be have a backup plan just in case. So, but yeah, and I think as well is everyone's talking Ethan Strange, who's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but I know Ricky loves Sebastian Chris, and when he gets back from suspension, that spot could be straight. Ethan has to earn that spot, and I think he's good enough to do it. But Sebastian's been around; he's been proven for a while now, so it might be hard to try and convince Ricky Stewart to get that spot shut up. So
they haven't made the finals. They haven't made the finals properly for a while, like deep, and you need that explosive fullback. And does Chris really give you that? Like, he's a great centre. He scored lots of tries, but did he really give you what some of these other fullbacks are giving you? If you want to win the comp, you need a gun fullback.
If he does,
I'm wrong. Raiders made the finals the year before last, didn't they?
But he said deep in the finals. Fair enough.
Deep into the finals, like you coming eighth and fucking making that first week ain't shit. You got to make it in. Right. Like mate. Let's be honest. We all talk footy every week. If you're not in the top four, you're not winning a grand final. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Glenn hasn't seen a final series in about 30 years.
Well, I think the last time someone come from eighth and they got belted anyway, it was the Cowboys on the back of my at you. They got fucking whooped. Like, yeah, the high got them there, but you get that week off and all the rest of it, man. It's just so beneficial being top four side. Like, and it proves that every year in our finals, they're always there, and they're always the last of the bunch to make it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that second bite helps.
That's it. Alrighty. Let's move on to fullbacks. So this might be there's a lot of different teams I reckon having fullbacks. There's a lot of gun fullbacks this year. So I've personally gone with Kalen Ponga and Ryan Pappenhausen. That all depends, Ryan Pappenhausen, on how his trials go. Hoping his form holds up and hoping his legs looking good. So apparently everyone should go on to TikTok and go hound Pappenhausen. He's been copping a lot of that at the moment. If you see those that meme going around. You just keep asking him, everyone. He doesn't mind those questions. He loves it. So, but yeah, that's me anyway. Bright, you mate?
I've got a cheapie, so I got Weeks, or whoever gets that Canberra spot. And I do really like Ponga, but I've gone Latrell. Just that, obviously, he plays good at some point, so I'm just going to have it for the first round.
Yes. Oh, it's just, mate. Honestly, you're scaring me a little bit having the cheapie there, but you know what you're doing, mate. You know what you're doing. We'll see. You'll be laughing in a couple of weeks when we're all behind you. So, all right, Glenn, mate. How's your fullbacks looking?
Yeah, so I have Kalen Ponga and I have Latrell Mitchell. Kalen Ponga's a lock-in for me. Latrell Mitchell's between him, Turbo and Pappenhausen based on what I see in the trials. Whichever one of those three does the best in the trials will get that second spot.
Love it. Yeah, that's pretty much the same thing I'm doing. So, love it. Bergs, mate, how are you looking, mate?
I'm the same as you. I'm KP and Pappy, but at the end of the day, I don't think you can overlook KP. I know he's a head knock away from another extended period, but the way he tore it up at the end of the year last year, I think only Turbo would scare me as much as not having KP, you know. And I think if Pappy doesn't look great in the trials, I'll downgrade somehow and I'll probably get Turbo in to match it with KP if I can somehow.
Yeah. Imagine if those two were both at their best, having KP and Turbo as your two fullbacks, and they're both at their best. That'd be sexual.
Can I just say, whoever comes first for the first 6 rounds won't have either Hines, Cleary, or Ponga. One of those three, and they're all 900K, right? That's nearly $3 million. The player that's smart enough to get the right one of those that doesn't perform and invest somewhere else and gets those points will be the player in first place after the first 6 rounds.
Look at Bryce in there, all quiet. Love it.
And it won't be right.
You're going to need it, like, bro, balls to the wall, that's super coach, hey? Like, that's how you win it.
Or lose it in the first round.
Mine are about that big. I'll go with everyone else and try to just shimmy on here and shimmy on there. I can't balls it up like that.
Well, after Teamless Tuesday, there's a chance that positionals in the centre wing could make people or force people to make big decisions.
I think it'll be pretty safe. Like, in years gone by, you put people on the bench that you know are going to get a start. Like, you know this Stewart's probably going to get a run before round 10. You know what I mean? Do you just put him there? Do you put him there and leave him there? Saves you a trade later? Like, you need to find them ones that are guaranteed a spot, of course. But there are these guys that are coming, and it is beneficial as long as they're in before round 6, 7. It's not a bad ploy to have one of these guys sitting there. Save yourself a trade.
For me, my bench is making me money. It's imperative to make money early. I mean, it's all about revenue. But look, the people that get lucky are the ones that do have that player that comes in early. If you can get that player that does, then giddy up.
Are you a looper? Do you loop, Glenn?
Oh, I do, but I mean, not really in the first 10 rounds.
Well, that's where
it's all about making money.
That's where one of these guys comes into having a beneficial thing. Like, you don't always.
Statistically, you don't want to lose in the first 10 rounds, mate, because you're going to have players on the bench that are going to be getting under 15. Like, you always got those players when you're building a side that it's going to score really low. You just do. And looping, it just doesn't. Yeah, I mean, you look at any person that's won Supercoach, they won't have looped in their first 10 rounds. It's just, I mean, unless you get some really insane score.
I don't know about that. Last year, if you had the balls to jump on Nico after his injury come round 4 and you VC'd him, you would have copped a 15 points for that shit. You would have copped it easy because he scored 180 points. There you go, bro. Thank you very much. Come on down.
Nice straight
Like, yeah. So, yeah, it's one of them things, bro. Having a loop option isn't madness. I don't loop personally. I'm just a looper, okay? But it's one of them things I've seen people tear away on it.
But you shouldn't need to be using a non-playing reserve to loop in a season where we have buys. I mean, you're pretty much going to have a player on your bench every round that's a buy round player anyway that you can bring in and loop with, and still have that player making money instead of an NPR.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but there's always that 1 week you don't have one. And it'll be that week when you needed one.
Possible. It's always possible. You'll go down swinging, mate.
Fight to the death, love it. You know, I used to always have that nuff at the start of the year that might play towards the end of the draft origin. But I haven't done that since last year, really, because of with having the 17 teams in there, having that weekly buy every single week. I haven't done it, so. Sorry, I'm just reading the chat over here. So, I think someone's mentioning Brod's very, very poor audio.
Yeah, I can't hear him. I was going to call him Mumbles.
I'll tell you, Brod, you got Paul in there giving you shit about your mumbles. He said, "Speak, bruv." So, love it. I just think I'm too scared to not have a non-player when I know I can have the I need to have that coverage to cover buys, because for example, you've got how many 5 doggies players in your team. When the dogs play, mate, you're gonna need to have that 25th player in your team to cover. So, but that's just my thoughts anyway.
No, they won't be there come round 1, but there'll at least be 2 of them, I dare say. Sherry will be definitely there, and probably Curran 100% if he starts.
Do you reckon Jerry gets the spot?
Yeah, 100%. He'll take over Illos.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. At least one player that I think that I've got that will stay in my team. So, because I know we all know what he can do, but then again, he may have been doing that while he was on the.
Yeah, that's right. Juiced up.
Yeah,
hey, it doesn't matter once it's in there, bro. It's up to you to maintain it. You just got to keep being a weapon, bro. She's in there boosting around. You don't get that square. You don't get that square eating sandwiches.
That's it. SpongeBob. Alrighty. All right, guys. That's pretty much wrapped up our teams today. So, anything else before we want to finish up for the day?
No.
All good. All right. One last thing before we go. I'll bring it back up again, guys. So, Rugby League Fantasy Pro, guys. Go to www.rugbyleaguefantasypro.com and use code TRAGICS10 to receive $10 off your first year subscription. Guys, if you want to get the stats, if you love the stats, if you're a stats slut like myself, you'll love it. Just jump in there and you'll get some. I reckon the winner of Supercoach this year will have this app. So, cheers, guys. Alrighty. Well, that wraps everything up nice and neatly, guys. So please have good luck. We'll be back again next week, guys. We'll talk more Supercoach. Look forward to seeing you all then. Peace out.